There are approximately 170 million taxpayers expected to file this year. Here to talk about what you should know before you file and why it's important to file early is Tax Information Officer for Jackson Hewitt, Mark Steber. Good morning, Mark. How are you?
Good morning. We're wonderful. Very exciting time for people to start getting their tax refund money.
Yep, and sitting by a pool and grilling too at the same time, I understand, but that's another story. What is the largest change taxpayers need to know about this tax season?
Well, that's a big question. And the largest change is the change that affects your tax return, I tell people. But there's a lot to pick from this year. I would say the largest one is the child tax credit being offered to any taxpayer with a dependent child, up to $3,600, fully refundable. Half was supposedly paid up front and last year to reconcile. It's a big number and a lot of opportunity to get the other half. But there were changes to earned income credit, dependent care credit, new charitable donation deduction, even if you don't itemize, a lot of places to help put more money in your pocket come tax season.
Now, what documents should people be on the lookout for this tax season?
Yeah, there's going to be a barrage of tax documents this year, more so than any year in the past, because there's new documents. In addition to W-2s for wages, 1099s for interest or dividends or self-employment or unemployment, mortgage statements, charitable donations. New this year will be a statement related to your economic impact payment or your stimulus payment. You'll need that, especially if you do more stimulus because you have a new child on your tax return. There'll be a statement related to those advanced child tax credit payments. 35 million people got those. You'll need that to get the balance of your child tax credit, or even more if you have a new dependent. And then there'll be ones related to your health care if you bought health care through the marketplace or from your employer, and the list goes on and on. So watch for those documents, put them in the shoebox or the envelope, and get them to your tax pro and file early and get that big refund.
Yeah, it sounds like a big headache to me. Quick question. Is my home office tax deductible? And what about charitable donations?
Yeah, the home office is a great tax deduction. Some people get it, some people don't. The simple answer is if you're an employee working at home for the convenience of your employer, your office was closed, or just you choose to work home out of an abundance of caution, you generally do not get the home office tax deduction, even if you have a home office, with a desk and a chair and a phone. On the other hand, if you have a side gig business or a family member that has a side gig business, like a spouse, you generally do qualify for the home office deduction if you meet the other requirements, dedicated space used for your business. And if you're an employee, like I say, you don't get it. But if you also have a side gig business to help make ends meet, then you're back in the yes, get it category. So it can be confusing, just not if you're an employee only, but yes, if you have some home-based business. That charitable donation one, though, great question. New for 2021, gone in 2022. Taxpayers can take a charitable donation, $300 if they're single, $600 if they're married filing jointly, if they made charitable donations, which many do. Much different in years past where you had to itemize. This year, you just add it to the front of your return and get that benefit.
Now, many taxpayers collected unemployment benefits in 2021. Are they taxable or a tax deduction?
Very confusing issue on every front. I'll say it very simply. It's not good news. They used to be taxable back in 2019 and years past. Then 2020 came and the government changed the law and made it not taxable, trying to help people out. 10,200 or 20,400 if you're married, not taxable in 2020. Unfortunately, we're talking about 2021 and it's back in the taxable column. So watch for that 1099-G. Put those monies, if you're one of the 40 million people who got it, on your tax return. Sadly, you have to pay taxes, probably make your refund go down. But if you leave it off, the IRS will send you a letter. They will send you an assessment, and they will probably include some penalties and interest. So unemployment benefits, unfortunately, taxable in 2021, unlike some of the other great benefits we talked about.
Now, when should taxpayers work with a tax pro?
You should always work with a tax pro, James. I got to tell you, taxes have gotten very complicated. The year of the postcard is dead. There's credits, there's deductions, there's tax changes, there's life changes, there's life in general. And any one of those can mean a tax perk and a tax benefit. If you leave it off, the IRS is not just going to write you a bigger check. So if you've had anything that we've talked about or that you've heard about or that you want to go research about that is somehow going to affect you and be better for your tax return, get it wrong and you may get less money. So I always tell people, use a pro, let them do the work for you, get the best guaranteed refund that you can. And even if you're going to do it yourself, try to get somebody to look at it at an office from time to time. and get a better refund and a better tax experience and less stress. 3 out of 4 people get a refund. They're trending bigger this year so far. Outsource that to a tax pro who's trained and experienced and branded with a guarantee. It's just smarter today.
It sounds like it. Now, can I declare this as a home office for tax deductible purposes? If I'm by the pool and I'm grilling and I got my laptop.
Probably not exactly that, but you're not too far from having an office, that is dedicated. And there is the simplified method and the complex method. And the home office deduction has a much maligned, task. They say it's a red flag for audits. That's not true. If you have a home office and you're working on a business out of your house, you really should talk to a pro and get the biggest benefit you can. Because once you do that, there's a whole lot more that attaches to it that can make your tax refund bigger. So the home office, take it if you've got it, get a bigger refund. It's just smart.
Mark, I like that response. I really do. Mark Steber, Chief Tax Information Officer with Jackson Hewitt. Thank you for joining us on Morning Blend.
Thank you. Stay warm.
Stay by the pool. Keep grilling.
Hey, get that tax return going. Get that big money and buy that bigger fireplace.
Okay.
Take you later, James.